Hey everyone, happy Monday. Well, it's a rainy Monday as expected, and that's why we went 100% for the chance of rain. Every single square inch of the viewing area is seeing rain. We're going 100% for the chance of rain tomorrow morning. Some areas will pick up a little more than others, and let's get right to it. Let's see what we've got. What? Snow? I said snow. No, there is snow though out in the Texas Panhandle. It shows you how strong this system is. So let's dive right into it. I'm in between the KNWA News at 6 and the KNWA News at 7 on KXNW. And so keeping her muddy, rain, rain, stay all day and don't come back another day. Let's see. Need to travel with the drone to capture fall colors. So here's the deal on the fall colors. Wednesday and Thursday, get out, enjoy the colors. That's the peak. That's when you need to go, the middle of the week. This weekend was okay, but the colors are really popping. In fact, check out this WeatherBug Network camera from Decatur. This is like an autumn blaze. Look at this thing. If the sun hasn't gone down too much, let's see if we can still see the color. Yeah, there you go. Huh, that is gorgeous. And by the way, Bentonville on the square, check this out. Yes, I did, Alex. I did get your message about the 2 inches so far, and I even mentioned it during my newscast. Said some people mentioning that they had about 1 to 2 inches. So not everywhere saw 2 inches, but that's good. That one tree is just showing off, and there are additional trees, but that are showing off on the Bentonville Square. And if we look at Huntsville, it's kind of cloudy and rainy, and this is what it's going to be like over the weekend if you're waiting to do your fall foliage tours. So if you have off Wednesday and Thursday, that's the time to do it. Autumn Blaze though is really showing off. How about this? Christy saying we had a great soaker all day. Definitely thunderstorms. Yes, I do think we see thunderstorms tonight. There's a stronger system that's coming in, and it's going to have a little bit of energy with it. Now, I'm a little bit, cautious about the severe weather potential, meaning I'm not sold on it if it happens. But if you didn't hear earlier when I did that Facebook Live last night, the severe weather threat, is kind of focused in the River Valley. The Northwest Arkansas is not going to see severe weather this evening. We're good. You don't have to worry about that. And we're going to go through the timing just to let you know. So hold on just a second. But just want to let you know that the radar in Fort Smith has gone down, and it's scheduled to go down today. And it'll be down for 2 weeks for upgrades, for the pedestal, and many other things that they're doing. Because if you look at SRX and then you look at the radar image, it's blank and it doesn't show anything. And INX will show stuff, SGF will show stuff, but we actually don't have a real good view of southeast Oklahoma. So we're kind of in a little bit of a radar hole. And we're talking about way southeast Oklahoma. So thankfully, nothing's really pressing or nothing bad right now. So we had a question. What time does all this roll in? Well, let's show you here. So this is what we've got, Beatrice. First of all, this evening, we're seeing rain. And you're going to see that the rain is actually going to possibly come to a brief break, which looks like it will, right around 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, we got more energy moving in. I'll show you that. And that's going to develop more showers, perhaps some thunderstorms. Notice the thunderstorm activity in the River Valley. It's a little warmer, a little more instability. And then this energy really comes in, and there's going to be some heavy rain and pockets of heavy rain. And then look at this. I don't know if you saw that, but there is a cell that we'll have to watch. And the models have been pretty insistent in the early morning hours. There's going to be a lot of wind shear with this system before it moves in. And you can see a little bit of a stronger cell that moves right over the River Valley. And then, of course, as it moves into Northwest Arkansas, it tends to weaken. If we look at the rest of the forecast, by the early afternoon, this system will be moving out of here. So there you go. Around, I think, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the sky will start to clear, and we'll see that temperature drop. So the temperature trend is going to be a little tricky tomorrow. Let's look at the HRRR precipitation forecast. Now, keep in mind, this might be a little bit overboard, but it does show that potential for heavy rain. And so I think that there will be some heavy rain in spots. Let's look at the 18. This is basically the 18-hour precipitation, and it also shows a bullseye. There you can see it right there. A little bit heavier in the southeastern section of our weather coverage area. So is the severe threat over? Not exactly, because we got more energy moving in. Now, this evening, the severe weather threat is over. But, Quinn, there it is, a level 2 out of 5 severe weather threat. That's a level 2 out of 4 for the heavy rain. So the heavy rain potential overnight tonight into tomorrow still goes. And then there is a severe weather risk with a few strong storms, damaging winds, large hail, the main threats. Northwest Arkansas could see some pea-size hail tomorrow with some of these cells. So there is that severe weather threat. If we look at the individual threats, by the way, this will be updated here within an hour, just about a little over an hour. So we'll look at the individual threats. The tornado threat, you can see it does creep barely into southern sections of Scott County and LaFleur County, which, by the way, will be in a radar hole essentially if that does happen in the morning hours. Damaging winds and the hail threat shifts a little bit south just because of the lack of instability. Is there a low-level jet tonight? Oh, Les, there was a low-level jet today, and yes, there will be a low-level jet tonight. So let me show you this system. It's pretty good size, and it's pretty strong. And so we already had wave 1 come through, and you can see that. But look at system number 2. Number 1, it's more tight and more compact. So that tends to bring a little bit more intense weather. And you can actually see a severe thunderstorm watch ahead of it along the leading edge of the line. Also, you can see the counterclockwise spin. And yeah, there is winter weather that's in northeastern New Mexico. So that shows you that it is a pretty intense system. Well, obviously, this system has to come through, right? So it will, and it'll bring rain, and the rain will get pretty heavy at times. And along the leading edge, there could be a strong storm or two. So that's kind of a look at that. If we look at the 4-panel for precipitation, you're going to see that the models are kind of not all on board, but some of them are for a potential for heavy rain. So let's look. The graph, by the way, a couple days ago on Saturday didn't have any rain for Monday, which is like pathetic. There you see the European that actually didn't load all the way. So let me go back and do this. We really needed this rain in a major way. Majorly needed this rain. So there's the graph. There's a European, 2.64 in Fayetteville. So, 2 to 3 inches. I think that's pretty legit. The GFS, 18Z GFS is showing some rain. And the NAM, of course, going gangbusters. But had some nice rain, so that was pretty nice. Graph was whack on Saturday. No kidding. I'm going to show you the water vapor because you can really see this system well. So let's get rid of all these lows and highs. I'm going to bring up the water vapor, and you're going to see this pretty intense low. Remember how I was saying the rain would be in the morning? If you watched my Facebook Live last night, there's the energy moving in, and then that's what provided the rain this morning. So I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to rain. And then here's the next wave that comes through. So there's the dry punch. There's the upper level low. This is actually forming into a little bit of a deformation zone. So we're going to see the potential for some really heavy rain with this system. Also, too, this is known as a warm conveyor belt. You can actually see that organizing. And so we're going to see some thunderstorm activity, I think, in the morning hours. And so it's going to be in the early morning. Let's take a look at, just for grins, the 3-kilometer graph. This updates every hour. It only goes out 18 hours. Let's see what this has. And so there's the rain doing pretty well. Then you can see it moving east, clearing out. And then here comes the next wave. So there's the storms, there's the precipitation, and that's going to continue. Now, here's where the severe threat happens. It's along the leading edge of that spin. And you can see that's around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. The models have been pretty insistent on that. And so we're going to watch that closely. So Brian has a question. Historically, which of these have performed best for Northwest Arkansas? And believe it or not, even though it's a lower resolution model than some of the NAM and the graph, it's the European that's done the best. Cold air funnel potential. Josh, I actually talked about that. The temperatures aloft are pretty cool, and the spin happens to go right over our area. In fact, let me bring up a graphic here. It might take a little while to load, but let me show you here real fast. This is called vorticity. And so vorticity basically is the amount of spin in the atmosphere. And if we look, stand by. So here is the system, and along with the spin in the atmosphere. And typically when it goes right overhead, that's when you have cold air funnel potential. And look at that. That sucker comes right overhead. Pretty intense system. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to open this up. We're going to zoom in on it a little bit. I do not have, yes, I do have a scene camera. So delete that. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So what you're looking at here is precipitation. But at the same time, it's got this little wave of energy. You can see what's called, well, right here on the thing. So now let me save this again real fast. We'll save it like that. I can't add it. Hold on just a second. Josh, what can I get rid of? You know what I can get rid of? The muggy meter and the heat index. I don't think we're going to be having any more of that stuff. I think we might have a warm day next. By the way, early November, watch out. That system coming in is going to get pretty interesting. But here's a look at the muggy meter be gone. All right, here's a look at the vorticity. Now what I can do is I can pause it. And then what I'll be able to do is point some stuff out. So I'm going to go back. I'll put some pause points. Woo, that is a strong system, Josh. Look at that thing. Man. If we had instability, it would be absolutely game on for severe weather potential with this puppy. And you can already kind of see that it's got that potential. All right, now I can point some stuff out. So along the leading edge of the line, shortly after midnight is when we're going to have the greatest potential for severe weather. And a lot of people see the vorticity and they think the storms happen right over the vorticity, but they don't. They happen ahead of it. So when you're looking at these waves of energy, like a 500 millibar vorticity map, you have to look out ahead of it because that's what's called PVA, positive vorticity advection. And so positive vorticity is when you're ahead of the system. That's when that system rolls in. If we animate this, you're going to see, again, a lot of energy that's moving in. And that's a pretty impressive little low pressure system. And we definitely dodged a bullet. All right. So let's go with, go back to how much of an impact did Hurricane Rosalind have in enhancing this system? So not this system, but it brought the rainfall earlier. It had a little bit of an effect, but the moisture kind of got shunted to the south just a little bit. So that's a good question, Josh. But so if we go back to this, let me show you this here. So we move along in time. There's the low coming directly overhead. So if I zoom in, this is definitely where we could see some cold air funnel potential. Now, granted, it is in the morning. Typically, these cold air funnels happen during the afternoon as daytime heating kicks in the most. But one thing you'll notice is that low comes directly overhead. I mean, just like directly overhead. So there will be some small hail associated with this, what's called a cold core low. And I think some pea-sized hail will be possible. A lot of people, because it'll be cool, will think it's sleet, but it's not sleet. Leslie has a great question. Is there any chance of tornadoes in Van Buren, Arkansas? Well, here's the deal on this. I don't think it's a great chance, but I can't let our guard down with this type of a system. Oh, Fort Worth has a little bit greater of a tornado potential. So that's a good question, William. Let me show you this here. So we'll work our way south. There's Dallas. If we flip on the tornado potential, you'll notice that that starts nudging in. I personally think we'll look at the meso analysis, but you'll notice that south of Dallas, Waco has a 5%. So they actually bumped this up quite a bit. They went from 2 to 5%. And let's look at some meso analysis here on the SPC. I actually haven't looked at Dallas, but I know the system coming through is going to have some pretty good westerlies aloft. They do have a mesoscale discussion. So let's look at the meso analysis. Might have a storm chaser that's out there. So let's do this here. All right. So I'm going to go back to camera. We're going to take a look at this, and we're going to load up what's called meso analysis. This is basically a hour-by-hour model run from the Storm Prediction Center. And you're going to notice, first of all, the rain that pops up and moves in. And there's the wave of energy. And so it's a little bit on the backside of this system. However, if we look at the thermodynamics right now, that instability could barely sneak into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's look at the 0 to 3 kilometer Cape. So that's going to be moving north as well. So it's one of those events where it just races in right at the last second. Now, and Josh, you're out there. Name an event where the moisture and the instability raced in at the last second. A recent event and what it brought. So if we look at that, we look at the 0 to 3 kilometer helicity. Let's look at 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is going to be off the charts, I bet. There it is, 350. So the low-level jet kicks in. There's going to be potentially, I don't know if they're going to go tornado watch, but they might east of there. That's for sure. It's not looking too shabby. LCL heights are really low, 500 meters above ground level. The LFC heights are really low. The 0 to 500 meter helicity is pretty good. Photograph maps. Let's see what we got here. So the photographs become elongated as this system moves in, and honestly, if the storm motions are northeast, which they are, there's a little veering that occurs. But if there's a cell that can develop ahead of the line, you're definitely looking at 90-degree critical angles. So it'll be something interesting to look at for sure. All right, let's get back to StreamYard. There you go. The Springdale, March 30th, 2022 tornado. You got it. That's when the moisture streamed in at the last second. So is there potential for damage to trees and fencing if instability moves in? I need to figure out if I sharpen my chainsaws before I go to bed, just in case. Jared, where are you at? Let me know. If you're in the River Valley, I don't think you are, though. What area are we talking about? Well, this is basically we're still focusing on Dallas-Fort Worth because I had a question on there. Dan, have you seen the pictures? No, I saw your message, but I haven't had a chance to do it because I've been tracking these temperatures. So 7 p.m. jacket is on, 8 p.m. jacket is off, 9 sleeves are rolled up. Probably not 9, but maybe around midnight. Siloam, Cincinnati area. That also was one that the instability came racing back on December 31st, 2010. Now, just to let you know, tomorrow is going to be an interesting day where the temperatures will be dropping throughout the day. It's not one of those normal days where the low temperature is in the morning and the high temperature is, in the afternoon. Oh, yeah. So Van Buren may have some good storms tonight. Yep, overnight tonight, yes. We'll take you through one more time the future radar. So in the meantime, let me show you this as we look at the precipitation. So first of all, the temperatures. The high is going to be around 60. That happens in the morning hours. And we're talking shortly after midnight. Then, as we move throughout the day, we drop down into the low 50s by about 7 o'clock. Rain chances looking very likely. I'll show you another graph that has a really good representation of the rain. Then we break out in the sunshine very, very briefly, and we get up into the low 50s. But it's going to be a breezy northwest wind with a low 50s. And then you're going to see that we drop down into the mid to upper 30s. Then we climb back up into the mid 60s. So, and you can see that 63 degrees with lots of sunshine on Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be gorgeous. Oh, let me go back to the precipitation just to give you an idea what's happening here. So there's a look at 100% Tuesday morning. And then you've got a drop-off in precipitation. Someone asked about Halloween. Halloween, I think, is looking really good. The actual day of Halloween. Before Halloween, like the weekend, but I think trunk or treats on Sunday afternoon into the evening look okay. It's just the basically the time before that. No, that's not going to happen, Josh. So let me show you this. We got to remove this front real quick. Real fast. We're getting close to the newscast again, but here's what we've got. So there's the European model showing this system coming in, an enhancement of precipitation in the morning hours. And then you'll notice as we move throughout the day on Wednesday and Thursday, great high clouds start to return. And then there's the rain coming in. And then watch this as this system, I have to select all keyframes and delete that, zoom out. This system coming in on Friday does track a little farther south, but then it kind of lifts northward and it brings cloud cover and rain. So after that moves out on Sunday, now this shows rain through Sunday, but I'm a little hesitant to do that. I think it might be out quicker than that. And then you'll notice as the system lifts northeast, here's Halloween. So Halloween, I don't think it's going to be raining continuously. I think it clears out as of this point, and then this system moves out. Now, this system coming in November, after that moves out, a quick return of the moisture. We actually do have some instability with this, and the models are still a little bit confused on how this goes. But remember, about a week out, they didn't have any precipitation for today either. Remember, a week Monday, I was like, yeah, it's not showing any rain, but that's going to change. And sure enough, it did. And we got a lot of rain. So this is a system that comes in that might have a little bit more jet stream energy, a little bit more instability. In fact, you can see it right here. So they're still trying to fine tune the details, but we know there's a wave of energy coming in. We know there's a lot of jet stream energy and possibly somewhat of a negative tilt. So, and the instability will be coming back. Yes, Larry, we will be doing an update after the 10 o'clock news, but I won't be doing one before that. All right, guys, I got to run because there is a 7 o'clock newscast. So that's kind of everything. I'll give you one quick recap. Tonight, rain will continue. Overnight tonight, the rain picks up. Tomorrow morning, the potential for severe weather before sunrise and shortly after. It's mainly in the river valley, could clip northwest Arkansas. There could be the potential for some flooding because of the heavy rain. Then as we move throughout our Tuesday, the rain clears out. Wednesday, Thursday, great. Friday, another chance of rain. That continues into Saturday. We'll see you guys. Have a good one. And I'll see you tonight after the news so we take a look at the latest severe weather threat.